And in addition to that, I would like to thank Femi. We worked together and we tried very hard to make big difference across Africa. It was very hard because housing sector is quite difficult, and at this time in Africa, we can call it an immature sector, struggling. Struggling because we are lacking capital from the private sector, lacking capital from the public sector. This is a domain where the public sector have a big obligation. When you do some market segmentation in Africa, what you see just 1% of the population being affluent. And the middle income bracket, depending how you define it, it's between maybe 3 to 10%. This is the people who can afford some type of houses. Even that, really, if you do some rigorous economic and financial analysis, to see someone to be eligible to mortgage, the household must gain at least $1,000 per month. When you see that in Africa, it may be 2% of our population. It means we have about 90% of our population struggling to access to housing. They are in the informal settlement because they have an issue about affordability gap. And the government is not able to plug the gap. Plugging the gap first, meaning the government being able to put the infrastructure. Because when you are talking housing sector, you need infrastructure. And the infrastructure is a domain of the government. If the government is not able to put the road, to put the electricity, the sewage, the water, it's a big issue. Because when we are talking affordable housing, it's always at the remote area. And people need a connection between their location and the job market. And this is a domain of the government, because even you give someone a house, maybe at 50 kilometers, he will never go there, because the cost of the transportation is a big issue. When you are talking housing, you have to think always cost of the transportation, because they are linked. It means, just to make it short, we have serious issues about the housing across Africa. We are blessed. We went everywhere in Africa. We learned a lot, except some countries in Africa, especially in North Africa, making some good progress, like Morocco, Tunisia, Algeria, and South Africa. The rest of the Africa, the people who can access to mortgage is below 2% of the household. Meaning, we have a serious issue about access to capital. And access to capital, this morning, people talk a lot about the situation in our countries about access to capital. And housing finance is one of the big pillars for the housing development. And when you have an interest rate in double digit, and there is no support from the government, it will be very difficult to make housing work for all. I think it's an intentional, which is quite good. It's an aspiration, which is quite good. but we are quite far on this.